How's it going, everybody? Good evening. Welcome in. My apologies for the delay. We'll get started here in just a minute or two. Just going to give everybody the chance to hop on in, and then we'll get going. Norvin, we're not charting right now. Well, I guess we got a little bit of time before the lecture. So I'll take a look at it just because I feel like being nice. Yeah, Google's an interesting one right now, Norvin, isn't it? It reminds me a lot of Amazon just a few weeks ago. It reminds me of Amazon here. This is what Google reminds me of right now. Take a look at Google. It looks incredibly similar. Let's just see here. Oops. Looks just about the exact same as Amazon did just a few weeks ago. It looks pretty good, but this isn't a charting lecture, so I won't talk too much about it unless we have time at the end of the class, my friend. Oh, you've been in swing since Monday. Nice, dude. Happy to hear it. All right. We're not going to take too much time now. Just going to give it a couple more minutes and we are going to get right into it. Again, apologies for the delay, everybody. I am away from home right now. I'm actually in Texas, so just trying to be on time, I guess, and didn't really succeed. So apologies again for that. Hopefully wasn't too big of an impact for the rest of you. I know your time's important. All right, let me send out one more message letting everybody know we're going to get started, and we'll get right into it. How's everybody doing tonight? Hopefully everybody having a decent night so far. Happy to hear it, Errol. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Stripping a bathtub right now. Nice, that sounds fun. Well, hopefully this is something good to listen into while you clean that bathtub up. Hungry, not for food. Okay. All right. Not sure what you're hungry for, John. Maybe for some money. Well, let's talk about it. Yeah, there you go. Some gains. All right. Well, I know. Cut 12 minutes late now, guys. I don't want to waste any more time. Let's get right into it. Again, apologies for the delay. But tonight, the lecture is going to be on Thinkorswim setup. So we're really going to start from the basics here. So I'll start by just introducing to you guys what Thinkorswim even is. A lot of you guys may have never heard that before. We'll talk a little bit about kind of the basics on how to get things the way you want, adding studies, using the platform in general. And then we'll go from there. We'll take a look at any questions that you guys might have. And yeah, that'll probably bring us to the end of the class. So yeah, let's get right into it, everybody. Thinkorswim is a platform which previously was owned by TD Ameritrade and is now owned by Charles Schwab. And you'll see a lot of the analysts in the server using this as their charting platform. You might see Flips using this. You might see Tilio, River, yeah, maybe some others as well using the same platform. This is what a lot of us use for our charting. And there's a couple reasons behind that. Number one, it's effectively free. I believe in order to get live data, you need to have like $500 in a portfolio with them, something like that. But as long as you meet that requirement, you are able to use this platform with full live data entirely free, which is becoming less and less impressive as the years go on and as more brokerages are innovating. But that's besides the point. Regardless, Thinkorswim again is essentially a charting platform, a technical analysis platform. They also have some other really unique tools that a lot of other brokerages don't offer, which is some of the things that I'm going to talk about tonight. So what we're looking at here is just a standard chart here on Thinkorswim. This is going to be kind of the end point of the lecture tonight. So I'll talk about kind of all the steps you need to get your charts personalized in the way that you may want, get your layouts personalized in the way you may want, and just talk through a couple of the features that this platform has in general. Now, with that, there's a lot of other things that this platform offers outside of just charting. If you do sign up for this platform, again, this is not an ad, this is not sponsored. You guys can feel free to sign up or not sign up at your own will. It's entirely free. If you do sign up, I believe they're still doing I don't want to say promotion, but a session where they'll give you kind of one-on-one training on whatever you want to talk about for an hour. So if you're interested, definitely take advantage of that. But ultimately, this is generally speaking what my charting setup looks like. So I have all the indicators that I want. I have things laid out with the colors that I want. I have my levels, my trends, anything else that I need in order to trade effectively. Now, when you're just starting out on Thinkorswim, your charts may look a little more, let's see, reset to factory default. Hopefully that won't break everything. Yeah, when you're just getting started, your chart probably will look a little bit more like this, which probably for most of us is completely fine. It has all the data still. It's got everything presented in a way that's completely reasonable and decently easy to understand. But I'll also say that a good chunk of us will want to customize this, maybe change how things look, change how things are presented. So the first part of this lecture is going to focus on how to customize your charts in Thinkorswim. So, and I guess before I move on to that, any questions or comments before I keep going? I know I kind of rolled through that introduction kind of quick. I'm in a little bit of a rush. I feel bad. I already started late, so I want to get this one moving as soon as possible. Cool. Yeah, what's your question, Pierce? Yeah, feel free. Any questions that you guys have in the chat, go ahead and just throw them in the chat at any time. You guys may notice I'm on a different setup. Usually I'm on my PC. Today I'm on a laptop. I'm not at home. I'm traveling. So a little bit of a different setup for me. So I might be a bit slower than normal. Anyway, this is the desktop app, Pierce. That's actually an incredible question. There is two ways to use Thinkorswim. There's well, three technically. There is the desktop app, the mobile app, and the web app. To be honest, the web app is probably the worst out of all three. I've only used it one time and I've never used it again. A lot of the features are really screwed up. I would highly recommend just downloading it. Again, it's free. It's pretty easy to download. It's pretty lightweight. It doesn't take up too much storage. So I don't see a reason not to download it. Highly recommend just using the desktop app unless you're running some kind of uncompatible OS that you can't download this on. All right. Errol says, how did you reset to default? All I did is go into style and click reset to factory default, and it brings us right back to the default. Yeah, Jose, you said you have to have 500 in their company to get it for free. How does it work? Yeah, how do you get it? So I'm a little bit kind of out of the loop on how it works. It's been probably over 4 years since I set this up for the first time myself. But as far as I remember, Jose, you are able to download and use this platform for free at any time. All you need is a brokerage account with Charles Schwab, which it's easy to open a brokerage account. It's just like opening any other brokerage account. It doesn't really take much. I think sometimes you don't even need to put in too much personal information. Maybe that's not exactly true. But in order to get live, the real-time data, last I heard, the way that that works is you need to have $500 in a portfolio with their company. So it doesn't even need to be invested in anything. You don't even need to use it. But let's say you hate this brokerage and you love the charting platform, you could feel free to just throw $500 in here and forget about it, never touch it, never trade it. It'll grow like money normally would in a, kind of crappier bank account. And that's the end of it. And you get to use the platform for free and you can take that money out whenever you so please. Does that make sense, Jose? And that's just for the real-time data too. So if you wanted to just use this, after market hours for charting, you wouldn't even need the real-time data. It would just give you data that's 15 minutes delayed, which for after hours doesn't really matter. Obviously, if you want to trade intraday with this, you'll absolutely want that real-time data. And there's certainly some big advantages to trading with this platform intraday. So I think after we continue talking about the platform, a lot of you guys will understand why, as a day trader, this is far superior to something like a Robinhood or a Webull. But anyway, we'll get there. All right. So when you first download the platform, your charts will look a little something like this, which, like I mentioned, to a lot of you, this looks probably completely fine and maybe better than some of the line charts you currently look at on Robinhood, or, how the way your candle charts currently look on Webull. So Generally speaking, a lot of people don't know, but you can fully customize the entire layout on Thinkorswim. And I'll start this lecture off by just describing a little bit on how to change the look and feel of everything first. And then we'll talk a little bit more about how to set up indicators, levels, and then we'll talk about some of the other tools that Thinkorswim offers. So going into the setup piece first, if you go into application settings here, and then go into this look and feel, here's where you could change the overall look and feel of the application. So right now I have it set to dark. If I change it to something like light, you can see the preview of it there. It'll change the whole application to be, white. If I change it to Chinese dark, it'll look, somewhat different. If I change it to SSE light, whatever that is, it'll look a little something like this. So me personally, I'm a dark mode guy. I prefer everything to be, a little bit blacked out. So that's why I just run this dark format. Again, it's pretty simple. I just kind of stick with this, and that's really the end of it. Sometimes I go with this custom layout here that's just all blacked out, but I'm not really using the laptop much for Thinkorswim, so I don't even have that set, but I guess I'll just set it right now, and you can kind of see how that just darkens everything up a little bit. And that is how to set the kind of overall look and feel of the application. Moving on to setting the overall look and feel of your charts, you can kind of see here just a quick introduction. At the top, at the top you see just kind of general information. So there's some links to support. You can toggle between multiple accounts. You can see your buying power and then a couple different tabs at the top here. Once you move into the specific chart that you're looking at, there's this style tab here where you could change what the individual chart that you're looking at looks like. And that's all done from this appearance tab. So right now the chart type that I'm using is just, default candles, which is perfect for 99.9% of us. Some of us may like the look of this bar chart here, so you can kind of switch to that. Hopefully you guys can see that a bit in the background or in the preview. Some of us might be crazy in the head and just want to see line charts, which I guess that's fine. But for the most part, a lot of us are just going to stick with the candle charts. And then on top of that, obviously you can change the colors of your candles just like anything else. So we could make our up candles pink and we could make our down candles red, and we could say that's how we want our charts to look. You could also change the way your volume bars look. So right now they're all going to be set as gray. If I make it this way, they're all blue, or I could make them match the same colors as my candlesticks, something like this, which at this point we've gotten to a chart setup that's gotten to be rather ugly in my opinion. So I'm just going to go ahead and load what I normally like to see. So this is kind of the normal setup that I personally run. Just green and red candles, a full black background, and volume bars matching the candlesticks. It's super simple. It's all I really like. Sometimes I'll run this blue background here, but it really all comes down to personal preference at this point. Personally, I would recommend definitely using candles over most other options. But in terms of the colors and the way that your data is presented to you, it totally comes down to the way that you want to see it. I know me personally, sometimes I like to just kind of change the colors to keep things interesting a bit because trading can get kind of boring, which is a good thing. So sometimes I like to change these colors around to just see something new. But for the most part, definitely completely okay to keep this super simple. I know if you guys talk to River, he would say that this is more than he would ever do. He just uses the default Thinkorswim, throws his studies on, and that's the end of it. So this customization that I'm kind of telling you guys about is completely unnecessary, totally optional, but something that is certainly available to you within the platform. But that's really mainly how to set up the look and feel of the application. I don't want to cover too much of that because honestly, I feel like you guys will be able to figure that out and it's just not super important. Just wanted to show you guys that it's available. Really next, I want to focus in on showing you guys what's available to you in the application and show you why it could definitely be of value to you. And then we'll talk a little bit more about setting up studies and that sort of thing. But before we move on, any questions, comments before we keep going? Feel free to throw them in the chat if you have any. And if not, we will just keep this going. All right, cool. Well, let's keep going then. So, Thinkorswim as a platform is pretty fully featured. As I mentioned, I'm on a laptop today, so the functionality that I have available to me is a little bit less limited, just being on a single screen. But just to kind of show you guys real quick, this is what my kind of active trading platform looks like. So you can see I have, multiple charts of different time frames of the S&P. I got the Qs down here, SPX as well right here. And then I have a window here where I can buy and sell. Typically, I have an option contract up here, but you could have pretty much anything. Doesn't need to be an option contract. It could be shares. I think technically it could be futures too that you could be buying and selling too if you want. So I'll talk through a little bit on how to set this up. So this is called the flexible grid. If you are looking to actively trade on the Thinkorswim platform, I highly, highly, highly recommend using this functionality. It's just super, super advantageous. And I might even be able to simulate some things a little bit just so we can kind of talk through this a bit. Sorry if you can hear all those sounds right now. So let's just pull up a contract that's maybe still trading like a 1215 500C. Oops. 24, 12, 15. See, let's do a 600C. And it looks like it's loading up right now. So it's just trying to load up the simulation here. But I want to just kind of show you guys how this looks in real time. I'm sure a lot of you have seen, maybe River or somebody using this platform. Oh, I just realized this is going all the way back to 2020. All right, let's pull up 2020. So let's go 20. Let's pull up a contract here. Oh, I'll need to go. Let's just pull up the SPY shares. That'll probably be easier. So you can see here, it's pretty simple. So right now I'm simulating just kind of live market data here. So we can see this is all the way back in 2020 when the S&P was back down at 300, a full 50% haircut of where we are today. Pretty crazy. And zooming in here, I could just pretty easily, quickly market buy shares of the SPY. And again, this is simulated, so not really matters. I just slap in a market buy just by clicking that button. For some reason, it's not actually working, but I guess it doesn't really matter. I can cancel that order really quickly, just like that. I can go short, just like that. And there we go. Now I'm short very easily, and I could buy back that short just like that. Now it's closed, and you can see I made $8 on that. I could also put in limit orders just by clicking down on the ladder here, which again, it's pretty ugly when I'm just on laptop here, but I'll just expand it so we can see it a bit better here. So you can see it gives us a share price here. So we can see, 301.20. Let's say I wanted to put in a limit order at 301 down here. I could go ahead and I could click the active trading ladder right there. And now you can see my limit order is just automatically in at 301. And the cool part about Thinkorswim is it just prints that order on the chart too. So as price kind of makes its way down there, we could see where it's trading relative to price. Another cool thing is you could drag that order around. So let's say we decided, okay, we want to chase it a bit. We want to move that order up a bit. You could just drag it up. Oops, it accidentally placed another one. Okay, so now I have, okay, looks like I just bought 200 shares. But anyway, you can kind of see how that works, right? Let's say, for example, I want to stop out. I can sell my position just like that. And now I'm red $33. Let's say I want to go short now, just kind of trading based off of God knows what at this point. So now we're short a couple hundred shares of the SPY. It shows us right there. And let's say, okay, it's time for us to close it out, buy it back just like that. So the active trading platform on Thinkorswim is super, super powerful. It's really easy to use, and it just makes things incredibly simple if you are a day trader. It's so much easier than typing on your phone and messing around with orders on Robinhood. This is much simpler, right? All you need to do is click, right? And there's a limit order at this specific price, right? Just like that. All I did is a single click, and I now have a limit order at 390. Let's say I want to move this limit order up to 399. I can drag it up just like that. Let's say, I want to keep chasing, just keep dragging up that limit order. Hopefully I'll get filled. Just keep dragging it up. Maybe one day they're going to come back for me. Just keep dragging it up. And there we go. Now I'm in. It tells me my average right there. It tells me the P&L that I currently have, how much money I've made on this specific instrument today. And that's a big idea. So pretty cool stuff. Any questions on kind of the functionality of this platform before I talk a little bit more about setting it up? And again, this is all simulated. This isn't really happening now, so it's all fake. How do you do a stop loss here? Yeah. Let's see if I actually can. Um, I may not be able to just because of the way everything is sized out. Let's see. Okay, so if you right click, sell custom, yeah, this is how it's going to be done. So let's say, for example, I want to set a stop loss at this price here, 370. I could do right click, sell custom, and sell custom with a stop. Oops. What the hell just happened? I don't know what just happened. It just filled me on something. Let's see. Let's buy again, buy at the market, and let's set a stop loss here. Sell custom. Oh, stop limit probably. There we go. I don't know why it's a little bit funky. This might be a consequence of just it being simulated. It's behaving a little bit weirdly though. But anyway, that's how you would set the stop losses. You can just right click and sell custom, and you could set up a custom order. Or maybe even, oh, never mind. Sorry. I just realized I'm selling a new position. God, it's been a while. Got it. So what I need to do is essentially right click and do create a closing order with a stop. And from here, now I can set my stop loss up. So it pops up down here and I can determine how I want to set this up. So right now, the way this is working is the stop loss going to trigger at 299.49 and it's going to sell at the market. So I could confirm and send. And let's see, now my stop loss is there. If I wanted to move it up a bit, I could just drag it up right there and send it there. And now my stop is in. Say I want to move my stop up just so we can hopefully see this trigger a bit. I want to move it up. All right, and we can maybe see if the stop loss will trigger. If price comes back down here, we should see our simulated position closed out. Yeah, Matt, when you say talk about options, what do you mean exactly? Do you mean like using this platform with options? Like what's kind of your thought there? And there we go. There's that stop loss working for us. Yeah, active trader options. Yeah, that's a great question. So obviously we have our active trader window up right here. A real easy way to use this with options is, let's say, for example, somebody is talking about SPY options, right? What you could do is they could say, or if you're saying, look, I want to get into this 302 call, what you could do is right click and send to 9, which right now you could see here, I have this specific window linked to a number and a color. I have a lot of these windows linked to a number and a color, so I'll explain this really quick. So you could see this chart here and this chart here both show this red number 1. And when I change that, let's just say I change it to ES, both these charts change at the same time. Let's say I change it to Tesla, both these charts are going to change for us at the exact same time. Here you can see I have a number assigned. Oops, let's go back here. Here you can see I have a number assigned to this active trader window. It's 9. So let's say, for example, I'm looking through the options chain, which again, taking another step back here. This is the options chain here on Thinkorswim. This shows you all the options available for a given asset. So here again, we're back all the way in 2020. The S&P is at 300. I can see every single strike for the S&P at this time and the prices. So we could see right now a same day 302, 301 call costed $1.15, $115. I could right click and click send to 9, which is my active trader window. And now all of a sudden this 301 call is right here for me. I could, instantly market buy it, I guess, if that's what you wanted to do. So I could just slam a bunch of these, just start buying. And you can see it shows me my fills up top here. I don't even know what I'm doing here, but I'm in a bunch of these SPY calls now. And the one unfortunate thing about the SPY calls or in just options in general in Thinkorswim is it doesn't show your P&L live like it does for these shares. The only thing it really shows is you could see here I'm in at 112. That's my entry. And you can kind of see the current price that's highlighted. So right now I'm up about $10 on however many contracts I actually have. which generally speaking, you can open up a positions window, but let's just say I wanted to, just start selling all my contracts. I could start closing those out as well. And the active trader window works the exact same way as it does with shares. You can click to set limit orders, which you can see I'm getting filled on right now. You can click to set sell orders, which you can see I'm not getting filled on right now. The cool thing about showing or using this platform with options is it shows you the approximate price on where it shows you the approximate stock price on where you would need to be in order to sell your option contracts at a specific price. So you can see right now I have limit sells on these contracts at 112 bucks. That corresponds to about 333 in share price. So it kind of does that calculation for you, which is pretty cool to see. Like, let's say, for example, I'm going for some kind of home run. I want to sell this one at 145. You can see if I want to be able to sell this contract all the way up at 145 bucks, price really needs to make it all the way back up to that 301 area for me. So there's a lot of really, really cool benefits with this active trader platform. It just takes a lot of the thinking out of it, which hopefully you guys don't take that the wrong way. In terms of like buying and selling, it makes it very, very easy, which can be good for some people and very bad for others because it makes it easier to, make unfortunate decisions, which obviously, that's not ideal. But also it makes it easier to make really, really informed, great trades. It's super easy to just go in, click a limit, and that's the end of it. Yeah. All right, we got a couple questions in here. I want to take a second to address some of these. Is the reason that you use the multi-grid of charts to track the different times of that given stock? Yeah, so the reason that I like the multi-grid is kind of multi-purpose, right? So on one hand, the multi-grid is great. Since I'm on a laptop, it doesn't look as amazing, to be honest. I'm not going to lie about that. I think it definitely looks better on a bit of a larger screen, so apologies for that. But big benefit of the multi-grid is, I think, obvious at first, right? I can look at the 5-minute chart of SPY right here, and like I can look at the 30-minute as well at the exact same time. So I could pretty easily tell, okay, it looks like we're getting close to some pretty key support, 288.79 area, and I could even zoom in a bit more. Definitely a little uglier on a smaller monitor. It's pretty easy to tell, okay, looks like I'm getting close to some pretty key support here. Yesterday's low definitely looks like we're in a downtrend on this higher time frame, da 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 da. So obviously that's one benefit. Number two benefit is you can watch multiple stocks at once, and then additionally add some other flexibility in here, right? So I'm looking at the S&P and I'm looking at the Qs at the same time. I also have this little mini chart of the SPX as well, so I can see what level we're at there. I also have some mini windows of some time and sales, which again look a lot better on the kind of full screen version that I usually use. This doesn't look as excellent right now. But we can see some nice time and sales data here, figure out where some kind of interesting levels to be paying attention to are, that sort of thing. So having multiple charts, definitely an advantage. I think there's also certainly some weaknesses to acknowledge too, right? There's, I think, a limit of the human attention span. There's no reason to have the entire S&P 500, individual charts all on the same screen, right? It just becomes too much information to digest and pay attention to. But when you keep it simple, I think there's definitely a big benefit here. All right. Will I be showing you how to have the options contract show on the stock chart? Yeah, so that's a good question, Errol. So one interesting thing about the active trader, I'll expand this a bit so we can maybe see it better. Oh, I can't. I'll just put it in the chat actually, so everybody can kind of see more clearly. What I just threw in the chat is the kind of ticker symbol for an options contract in Thinkorswim. So it has a period in front of it. Then it has three letters for the ticker. Then it has the year, which in this case is 20. Then the month, which is in this case 06 for June. The day, which is 29 for June 29th. C or P for call or put. And then the strike price, which in this case is 301. So as you get a little bit more advanced with the platform, you'll be able to just kind of type that in all on your own. You just kind of know the expiration that you're looking at. If you're looking for a call or a put, and what strike price is reasonable. But outside of that, you could pretty easily click this trade tab here, go into all products, expand the options chain. And from here, it's pretty easy to tell what contracts are available for you. And also you could see, looks like in this specific window, it's showing that I still have 5 of these calls open and I am currently down 89 on those, which no good. Let's just, let's see if we could just close those here, create closing order, and let's sell those all and confirm and send that. All right, so we just closed our losing position there that we slam limit orders in, just like that. Super, super easy. So in terms of getting the option contract on the chart, it's as simple as just typing in that same string here. So I'm just copy and pasting it from the active trader window to the chart window. And just like that, we have our options chart. So we could see, looks like there is a little bit more volume, at this 280 level a couple of days ago. Some people will try and structure trades off the options chart. It's not something that I've been doing really recently. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question. That did make sense, Earl? I'll try talking through it one more time maybe. I know I didn't really give an in-depth explanation into the options chain, and I think this is probably a good excuse for us to talk about all the tabs throughout Thinkorswim. So let's take a step back then. Oh, it makes sense. Oh, thought there was a setting for it. Cool. So let's just talk about this a little bit real quick, Errol, just to kind of show you guys and walk you through it. So a couple different tabs, obviously, here in Thinkorswim. I want to start off by just showing off this trade tab here. So this trade tab, it shows us where the options chain is. So again, as I mentioned earlier, this shows us all of the options contracts available for a given ticker. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and stop simulating because it's kind of starting to get a little bit annoying. So anyway, here, now we're back in the real world here. SPY's back at 602.80. And we could see this is pretty nice. It shows us the expiration dates, so all the expirations available, the number of days until expiration. So we could see the 10 December contracts have 0 days till expiration because they expired today. The 11 December contracts have 1 day till expiration because they expire tomorrow, et cetera, et cetera. Let's just use the 20 December contracts for an example. So we can see literally every single contract that is available to trade for December 20th, 2024, all the way down to the 120 strike calls, all the way up to the 860 strike calls. The default view that I have here shows me the volume of the contract, which is the number of contracts bought and sold, the open interest, which is the number of contracts that actually exist, and the bid and the ask of those contracts. Then obviously by default, it shows the expiration date and the strike. And then on the right side, it shows the same thing for the put side. So this is the options chain. There's some customization that you could do here. So like I mentioned, by default for me, it shows just volume and open interest. For you, it could show whatever you like. So there's a couple of default settings here. It could show all the Greeks just like that. It could show, IV, some other probabilities, delta. It could show the theoretical price, the last price traded. So there's a lot of different ways that you can have this information displayed. But for the most part, I think for me, by default, I just like to see the volume and open interest. There's obviously a lot of other kind of different default traders here built in. There's this Forex trader that has all these default things built in. There's also this active trader, which is usually what people talk about when they talk about Thinkorswim, as they say, oh, the active trader. I just use the flexible grid because you can just embed the active trader and it's a bit more flexible. Funny enough, flexible grid. And that's really the trade tab. Moving on to the Analyze tab. This is one where there's a lot of functionality. There's some simulation that you can do. There's some probability analysis that you could perform. There's a whole bunch of economic data. So it'll show you historical data on a whole host of sort of things. Like, for example, we could look at CPI, just, the standard CPI data right here. And we could see this is some CPI index since 1950, I guess. Whatever that's exactly representing is hard for me to specifically say. I don't remember what this think back is. I think this is back testing. I haven't used this really. The fundamentals is kind of my best, or I'll say favorite tool to use in this section. So this is pretty cool. If we look at something like Apple, it gives us a quick kind of blurb on how analysts are rating the stock, which again, not always super relevant. It also gives a quick summary to the company. So for example, what I'll usually do is if Norvin mentions a company that I've never seen before, I like to pull it up in here and just figure out what exactly they're doing, because it's nice to just have a little bit of background there. For something like Apple, I'm sure it's pretty obvious to the majority of us. It also gives us quick summary on a lot of their financials, which is pretty nice to see. Just some short-term trends. And then it gives you this kind of blurb on just short-term analysis, what's contributing to the valuation, trends to pay attention for, and kind of the majority of where the company's profit and revenues are coming from. You can also look at historical earnings for the same name as well. And that's really the Analyze tab. And I just realized how it's already been 35 minutes in this lecture. I have no idea how time has gone by that quickly. Honestly, I'm shocked. So I want to just take a quick second. Any questions on the Trade or Analyze tab? I am realizing that I need to start moving a little bit quicker to make sure we cover everything in a reasonable amount of time. And I see your questions, Zahat. I will get to it in more detail, but the answer is I don't have any idea on how to do that. However, I have an idea on how to make it super, super quick to do for you. That's just built into Thinkorswim. It's super easy. All right, good. Cool. Let's keep going. So this scanner can be pretty powerful. I won't have the opportunity to give a super, super in-depth introduction into how to use it and all the different things that you can do with it. But this will essentially give you a list of stocks that meet criteria that you specify. So let's say, for example, I want to only trade stocks with a minimum volume of, let's say, 5 million. We'll say that. All of a sudden, it just narrows down my list to 660 matches. Then I want to trade only stocks that were green on the day. So I'll just set my minimum here to 0%. So it's going to start scanning for stocks that have 5 million volume that were green. And if I just go ahead and click scan, it gives me a list of stocks that had at least 5 million volume that were green. And there was 215 names that met those criteria today. Let's say I wanted stocks that had that much volume that were a little bit bigger green. So let's just say 5% or greater. You can see now there's only 63 names that meet that criteria. So we can see here, this name was up 9,900%. Who knows what the hell that was. But anyway, the scanner, super, super powerful. It can be incredibly fun to just kind of get some inspiration, find new names to trade. Obviously, there's some things to be taken with a grain of salt. Like, for example, this name, 9,900%. Probably want to stay away from that one. A lot of these penny guys, probably want to be a bit more careful of. But anyway. All right, that's a scan tab. Again, super powerful. There's a couple other things that you could scan for, but this stock hacker is really the most powerful thing I think that I know of. Options hacker, you can do pretty much the same thing, which can also be pretty cool. And then let's see, this spread book, I'm not super educated on what exactly is going on here. So I don't really use this. Not really too sure. Yeah, Adrian, I think the answer is that's not exactly what Tilio puts out under his tab. You'll have to ask him how he's doing it these days. I don't 100% know what he's doing to scan for those. I think part of it is unusual whales filtering. In the past, though, he has done a lot of scanning in Thinkorswim. So I would encourage you to just ask him what parameters he's scanning for or how he's picking out those options. I guarantee you he has a scanner that he uses for Thinkorswim. I just don't know if it's for those options anymore. So that's a very good question, Adrian, and I'm happy that you asked that. All right. This market watch, again, not something that I use too often, but I guess it can be helpful. It shows you all the earnings coming up. I have no idea what any of this is. So I guess it's Forex stuff. Just some kind of visualizations here, and then all the alerts that you have active, which certainly can be helpful. And then into the tools section, not too much that I use here. There's kind of a built-in console for ThinkScript, which I guess is probably a good time for me to mention. Thinkorswim, Thinkorswim allows you to effectively make your own custom indicators. So you can do a whole lot of crazy stuff in this platform. I'll refrain from giving too much of an introduction because I'm not the most educated on making custom scripts, but I know it's possible. I've made some custom scripts myself. They also include this kind of education section in their platform. So I haven't used this in a while and it looks like it's having a bit of trouble loading today, but yeah, this is where you could learn a little bit more about the platform itself and get some demos here. And then just a help section. So moving back to the charts. Does anybody have any questions before I just give a quick rundown on how to set up a flexible grid? Any questions on anything so far? Everybody feeling all right about Thinkorswim? I'm hoping you guys are understanding the value here and why so many of us in here use it. It's just super powerful. It's easy to use for the most part. There's definitely a learning curve to it, but once you get started, it's just so worth it. Yeah, I can't encourage you all anymore to start using this more. Again, it's free for the most part. I mean, you could start using it for free, I think. I don't think you need to have really any money in the platform to start using it. And it's just so much more powerful than any other charting platform. Me personally, I don't trade as much on this anymore because I'm not doing as much day trading. But 100% of my technical analysis still is done here. It's just remains superior to all other platforms. And I think it will remain that way for a while. There's some other good options out there for sure. I can't act like this is the only one. Um, yeah, Zayhat, I 100% agree with you. Other platforms are for sure more user friendly. Yeah, I haven't really used Webull too much, but I'm sure it's more user friendly. I think anything is probably more user friendly than Thinkorswim. It is not great for new users. I'm not going to act like it is. With that said, though, if you just gave it an hour, if you just clicked around for a single hour, I can almost guarantee if you're even a little bit tech savvy, if you know how to use a phone, you would understand this platform well enough to be able to trade on it within an hour. If you just sat down after this lecture and clicked around for an hour, set up your charts, got everything ready, good to go, you would be very proficient at using the platform. And that's all you need. You don't need to be an expert. You just need to understand how to get your charts set up. You don't need to understand all the scripting. You don't need to use every single feature, but just taking advantage of the charts and maybe the scanner and the options chain, you're in a really good spot. All right. So let's get these charts back going again. Let's talk through a little bit on how to set up the grid. So what happens if I click this on? Yeah, let's go back to the default config. So this might be the default configuration. I don't think so though. Let's see. Let's reset this. Okay. So this is the default configuration of this charts or flexible grid. So you can see when it comes up with this kind of prompt here. It lets you create a new window under it, which is this plus button here. and it lets you create a new window to the right of it, which is this right button here. So I can create a bunch of windows to the right, just like that, or I can create a bunch of windows below. So let's just say, for example, this is the active trader setup that we want, this default setup right here. We could say, okay, we're gonna just uncheck this customize grid box, which means we're done customizing. And let's go in here and let's say, for example, we want this gadget to be our active trader. So you can see, oh, actually, let's say, for example, we want this to be our level 2. And let's say, for example, we want this to be our, I don't know, we'll say that we want this to be our active trader. Then we could go ahead and link this to this. And now all of a sudden we have these two linked to SPY, and we can close out that chart there. And every time I type in a new ticker, so QQQ, this level 2 window updates with the chart window up here, and I could just update it to anything. It'll continue to update for the rest of the lifetime of this tool. I could also decide to unlink it and just say, I just want to see the level 2 on the Russell, and I want this to say, ES or something like that. So super customizable in that way. And then let's say, for example, again, we talked about this being the active trader. If we just gave this a number, which all you need to do is click this little chain link icon here, we can make that purple. Then when we go back to our active trader, we could say, okay, send this to our purple. And now we have whatever contract we on right here. And we want the chart and the active trader, so we could uncheck the chart. And now we have the whole active trader window in here. And maybe we want to see a chart of SPX down in the bottom right. And there we go. There's our chart of SPX in the bottom right. And moving on a little bit, you can even customize some things within these specific windows. So for example, if I click the gear icon in this active trader window, I could remove some of the buttons. So let's say, for example, I never want to reverse a position. I could just click remove. Let's say I never want to flatten a position. I could click remove. And now I just have buy, sell, cancel, which, some people may want. Even if I don't want to see this position summary, I could hide that. And now I just have buy, sell, cancel, and I have the ladder here. So super customizable in that way. And then obviously we talked about setting up styles as well. So for example, you go into the settings up here, and this is where you can configure how your chart. So a question that you guys may have is, obviously make all these, I'd like to think, pretty cool and nice and smooth configuration decisions. Do we need to make those decisions every time we start up the platform? Do we need to redo everything once we restart the application? Obviously, the answer is no. So let's talk about it. First of all, let's say, for example, you set up a chart in a way that you just love, right? This is the way that you want the chart to look. We could do something crazy. We could make it a line chart with a purple candle and blue volume. And let's say, for example, this is the way our charts need to look. They need to look like this. We could go into style and click save style, which I'm not going to do because I'd rather not save this. You can give it a name. And then when you go into load style, you have a list of all of your styles that have all your cool stuff that you could ever want to load. So if I pulled up that one, or if I pulled up, this one, it has all the styles that I've liked in the past. Some I still use, some I don't. And if I ever wanted to, I could go back to using these. So anyway, pretty cool. That's kind of how this works in terms of saving styles. So that saves the look and feel and the studies that you have on the chart. Let's say, for example, I want to save this whole layout. So I want to save my whole, I don't know, what was the flip style? Let's load that. I actually have no idea. Oh, this is just all his moving averages in VWAP, it looks like. And oh yeah, this is his whole setup with the moving averages, the VWAP, the TTM squeeze. I'm sure you guys will like that. So I'll just share it with you guys to give you guys a head start. Oh yeah, I can't actually share a style, but I could share a chart. So I'll share this chart with you guys. This essentially will give you guys a good head start, I'd like to think, if you guys like trading similar to flips. Okay, I put the link in the chat for that one. So that's styles. You could also save what's called study sets. So I have all these study sets that have different indicators that I like to use. To add and remove indicators, all you do is go into edit studies and you can search for the rest of your life for different studies to add and customize and add in here. You could set up all the colors just the way you like, which obviously for obvious reasons, I can't go into the details of setting every single study every single way, but I promise you, if you just click the gear, all of you are smart enough. You guys know how to get in here and click your way around and figure out all the cool things that you can do. Once you have a set of studies that you like, you can go into studies and click save study set. And just like your styles, you give it a special name that you like and you'll remember forever. And you could always go back and load that same set of indicators that you had on before. So that's how you could preset all your studies. That's how you could preset all your styles. The last thing is saving this entire window. So your flexible grid, if you close it out and reset your computer, this would be gone. One thing that you could do is you could go into this setup up at the top right, and you could click save workspace. And saving the workspace will allow you to save everything that you have going on here. So you can see I have a couple different save workspace. This is Rivers workspace right here. So if I click that, okay, it brought us back. This is Rivers flexible grid right here. If we go to his charts tab, this is Rivers charts tab. And then I think he uses Active Trader probably. Yeah, so this might be Rivers Active Trader. I have no idea what this is, to be honest, but this is something that Rivers shared to me. This looks scary like his charts, though. Actually, it's kind of creeping me out a bit. And then let's see, what else do I have in here? This is a default one, Street Smart Edge. This one's super ugly. But you can kind of see maybe some of you guys really like this. This is like probably looks really good to some of you. So you can go ahead and load this if you want. Anyway, this is how you can do all that. Does that make sense? Yeah, I hate how it does that. It kind of like stays white. Never know how to fix that. I have to like switch it back manually. That's the weird one with that Street Smart one. I don't know why it does that. Cool. All right. Well, I want to just kind of take the time here at the end to just answer any questions that you guys may have or anything that you want me to cover again. I know we kind of blew through a lot of that super quick. So I don't want to I don't know specifically where I should go back to. I'm sure there were some things that I rushed to that you guys might want to see again. Oh yeah, Zahat, sorry. I didn't realize I didn't actually cover that. Yeah, so hotkey. So I am on a laptop, so I don't actually have a mouse right now. But if you have a mouse, Zahat, if you click on a chart and you click the middle mouse button, it's essentially going to bring up this drawing tools menu right in the middle of the screen. So hopefully you have Thinkorswim and a mouse right now. If not, try it later. Just click the middle mouse button in the middle of a chart. It'll bring this drawing tools up, and it's about as close to a hotkey as you really need, in my opinion. I don't really see much of a reason to be any quicker than that, but I'm sure maybe some people might want it, and you could probably create a hotkey off of that. If you just click middle mouse button, then navigate to the perfect place, you could use auto hotkey probably to make that. But all you do, click middle mouse button and it'll just bring this window up and you can click from all the drawing tools. That's probably the best way to quickly draw on charts. Yeah, definitely better than going all the way down to the bottom and doing it here, and better than going through, here, drawing tools. So middle mouse button, 100%, couldn't recommend any more. As I mentioned, I can't do that right now. I'm on a laptop, so it doesn't exactly work, but I guess this is still pretty quick. If you go into add a drawing, it gets you going pretty quick. Hopefully that helps, Ahat, and yeah, hopefully you're able to try that right now because that should satisfy your needs for a hotkey, I think, but maybe that's too slow for you still. Anything else that you guys would like me to cover? Yeah, Adrian, do I think TOS compares better to other charting sites like TradingView? I think the answer is yes, and let me explain the reason why. Number one, if you want live data and more than 3 indicators on TradingView, you need to pay. And yes, for Thinkorswim for live data, you need to put money in an account, but that doesn't mean you need to lose that money or give that money to somebody else. it just needs to sit in there, right? You could not spend a dime with Thinkorswim and just put money in an account and you get to use the platform fully for free. So automatically that's an advantage, right? You don't need to spend the, I don't know how many, $10 a month for live data, right? So automatically that's a win. Additionally, Thinkorswim is a full software, so in my opinion, it typically runs a bit better than something might in a browser. And it also has more features, right? For TradingView, you probably have to pay for the premium to get, some more of the features that Thinkorswim just offers natively. It also has all the kind of fundamental analysis tools, the scanning, which I haven't used TradingView in so long that I have no idea how it kind of weighs up in that specific regard. I have no idea if that's included. But anyway, I think I'm probably a bit biased, but I think Thinkorswim is definitely one of the best charting platforms. I'm not going to be ignorant and say it is the best because I know there's some other super powerful ones. I can't act like it is 100% the best, but in my opinion, it works great for everything that we like to do at OOT. There's obviously other ones that are completely good as well. There's like, what is it? Tasty Trade, I think, or I don't remember what it's called. That one seems pretty good. TC 2000, I know, is another popular one. I don't know too much about it, but I've seen it around. Ninja Trader, I think is what it's called. That one's a pretty expensive one, but I know it's can be popular in more like the futures trading community. So there's definitely other powerful platforms. Thinkorswim is not the only one. But I think Thinkorswim is a really, really good all-around option for the things that we do in this group. Personally, that's my personal opinion. Some may disagree, and that's fine. But yeah, I think Thinkorswim compares better for sure. What else do you guys have? Any other questions that I can answer? All right. Well, if that's everything, again, want to mention Thinkorswim, big idea. I think it's a great way for you all to work on leveling up your trading. If you are stuck trying to look at charts on your phone or on Robinhood or on line charts, this should make a massive, massive, massive improvement in your trading. Um, I personally think it's very fun to use this software. I think it makes trading much more exciting, which trading isn't really supposed to be exciting. I think Thinkorswim is such a fully featured platform that it makes things frankly easier and just overall better. It gives you more information to help you feel more confident in your trades. I can't recommend it enough. Again, I wish this was a paid sponsorship. Truly, I wish I could get money to push this all onto you, but unfortunately, I don't. But I definitely do really like this platform. The reason that I use it is mostly because of Tilio. He's the one who showed me and some of the kind of earlier members of OOT the way, and ever since then there's been no reason for me to switch off of it. I mean, it's a great platform for the most part. It has its quirks just like anything, and I have some concerns with the Schwab takeover that development. I haven't seen many improvements really in the last year, which maybe is a red flag, and it might not be the best thing after 5 years from now, but it still works for sure. It gets the job done, and I like it. So doesn't mean you guys need to, you know, switch everything over to it, or you don't even need to use it. But hopefully this lecture just helped inform you guys on a little bit more on how to use the platform, the value that it can provide. Hopefully that active trader demo was helpful too. I mean, for better or for worse, it is so easy to enter and exit trades on this platform. That shouldn't be an excuse for you to just hop in here tomorrow and just be all irresponsible and make all these stupid decisions because you can get in and out so easy. But it should help you manage your trades much more effectively, right? You should never have an excuse like, oh, I couldn't set a stop, or oh, I didn't have time to set my target, right? Because you don't even need to type to set a profit target, right? You click one button and there's your profit target set right there. Or oop, you click buy, oop, there's your limit order set, right? It's one click ordering, one click. I mean, it's so simple, and it just really helps you manage your risk, manage your entries, manage your exits. Um, yeah, I wish this was a paid ad because it's really starting to sound like one. But anyway, thanks again. Yes, you can watch this lesson recording back, Dromi. I think all of our lectures are still being uploaded around the next day. And with that in mind, guys, again, really appreciate your time as always. It's definitely always a pleasure. And thanks again for bearing with me for being late and on the laptop. I know it's probably not ideal. It looks a little funny. Maybe the mic sounds weird too. So I apologize for that. I'll be back to normal next week. But again, appreciate it, you guys, seriously, and hope you enjoy the lectures. And yeah, Adrian, thanks so much for being here. Yeah, really appreciate you stopping by. This was a good first lecture to be at. This should set you up for the next hopefully long time that you're here with us in the group. Um, and yeah, thanks again, everybody. Appreciate you guys all being here. And I hope you have a great rest of your night. And I'll see you guys all in the next one. Adios, everyone. Thank you so much. Yep. Have a great one. Thanks, Sean. See ya.